Let me quickly give you another perspective on criticism from brain science. So you know that we have prefrontal cortex and we have the limbic brain. In both the developmental manner and in the evolutionary process, the limbic brain grows, matures faster, and the prefrontal cortex takes time. In the evolutionary process means this brain, the limbic brain, the ancestral brain, with quick responses, with quick decision making. If something, a wild animal comes right behind me, the response of fight or flight or freeze will be natural. I wouldn't even know, but my body will immediately react, either run or freeze or attack back. That's my limbic brain. That's a survival mechanism. And that response is set for millions and millions of years. But human is a different animal in the whole animal kingdom. A human is different because its prefrontal cortex kept on developing. It's the highest, if you look in proportion, between the limbic brain and the prefrontal cortex. This is your PFC is where your logic is, your reasoning is. That's why it's also sometimes called slow brain, because it takes time. You will have to override the responses that come from the limbic brain and use your prefrontal cortex to put new responses. I'll give an example. Your boss criticizes you, and your limbic brain, the brain that is ancestral, that is emotional, that is quick reactive because of habits, it will say, oh my God, I hope I don't lose my job. What happens if I lose my job? Last year I lost my job and I fell in depression. I don't want to go in depression. What if this is the end? Everything will end just with one criticism from boss. But you can override this and say, use your reasoning, use your logic, and say that, no, I'm not going to lose my job. It's just a small criticism and it has some value. I can turn on a monk mode, and within a month I will improve myself. And even if I lose my job, I'm going to find another one. No matter what happens, I'm the child of this universe. This universe will find a way to take care of me. In the end, whatever happens, I'll be all right. This is the new wiring. You can train yourself to think like that. And so this is important, because otherwise, if you're not using your, some people also call it higher brain and the lower brain. A higher brain is more conscious, more evolved, and more recent. So you always need to pause and reflect. And that's how you change your response. That's how you change your response. While many animals cannot change their responses. If once the response is set, it's set. But a human, for better and for worse, can actually do that, can change its wiring, brain wiring, neuroplasticity, you know. You can train yourself to think differently, to feel differently, to be differently, to live differently. You can train all these neural synapses, neural connections. So when you realize that if you're afraid, if you're fearful, or if you're angry because of something, that's a quick response. You are so used, so habituated with that response. But you can pause and reflect and use your reasoning, use your brain, your logic, and come to a new understanding. Because it's not the same tribal society it used to be. Before, rejection or criticism meant that you will be thrown out of the community, of the tribe. It could also mean that you will die. But now it doesn't happen. Now it's not the case. But the same brain is still responding. So it's still thinking that it's the same threat. But it's not. And that's why, you know, I can say 100 beautiful things in all my videos, but if in one video I say something stupid, I know that most people will be so taken aback and so completely, they will have a paradigm shift of who I am. Because as long as I'm agreeable, it's all pleasant. But the moment one thing I say that is different, it's a threat. But that you can override. You can always override that. Okay?